Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about summer wells, and this isn't going to be anything super long or anything like that, and I'm sure this will probably rub people the wrong way because against popular opinion as far as who did what and what occurred, since the beginning I think it's pretty much been the same for a lot of people where our theory of what happened to summer changes almost on a regular basis, like a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day, depending on what you heard that day, right? So I have my beliefs of what I feel happened to her, which I've stated in other videos. However, after seeing what happened with Athena Strand, it would be wrong to not entertain the idea of abduction with Summer. I know originally when I started following Summer's case, the stranger abduction was almost immediately canceled out by a bunch of people because of where she lived in the terrain and stuff. And at first, I had thought maybe it could be stranger abduction and they maybe saw Candace and the kids out somewhere and decided to follow them home or lurk around. And then when it came out, the more they got into the terrain and the dynamics of the area and stuff, it seemed less likely. But I always felt like even someone could lay out and, hide within the trees and the bushes and no one would know that they were there. And because of all of the traffic that does come in and out of that area, I've always felt it was a possibility that someone, noticed the type of lifestyle Don and Candace lived, the type of parenting style that was there and how often the kids were unattended. For instance, the tree cutters. Okay, this is just an example. The tree cutters and even a mailman, okay, or male woman. We'll just put this out there. And these are just my views, my thoughts, and my opinions only. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just doing this to give examples of my point of how, even if it's unlikely, there's still that possibility that I thought abduction was a possibility. Even if it's somebody that is not very well known to Summer or the Wells, and it is, like I said, the tree cutters or the mail post office person, kids that age, they typically say hi to everybody, right? And if they see their parents say hi to somebody, then they say hi to somebody, and in their mind, well, mommy and daddy said hi to them, so that person's safe. Just like if you go to a grocery store or whatever and somebody decides to strike up a conversation with you to ask you about a product on the shelf. Some children would be like, well, mommy and daddy say don't talk to strangers, but mommy talked to that stranger or daddy talked to that stranger, so that person's not a stranger. And for a child that young, it can be a little bit confusing and be very vague as far as what stranger can mean, depending on how they're being taught or, depending on how they analyze things. So what I want to show in this video is that even if it's unlikely, okay, abduction should go back on the table, in my opinion, for me at least, because it wouldn't be fair to Summer not to entertain that idea, okay, because the whole goal is to figure out where Summer is, what happened to Summer, and hopefully find a way to get her found and brought back, right, whatever that may mean and whatever condition she is. And I will be the first to admit, for Athena Strand, stranger abduction was not even on my radar. And I'm sure you've heard other channels mention how it kind of started looking like a lot of comparisons to Summer's case. For me personally, the view of where she lived reminded me the most of Summer. I know people were talking about the house possibly being filthy or whatever. I don't know about that. I didn't see anything specifically about that, and I don't care about that. That's not a concern to me right now. However, because of the area, the terrain, and the surroundings of where Athena and Summer's houses are, they're very similar in the aspect that there's nobody around, right? And unless you know that area, you probably aren't going to just stumble, it's not like a city street where there's houses everywhere, right? These guys are kind of out in the boonies, just like Summer is. Granted, there is some differences, but that was the biggest similarity for me, was the landscape or terrain, however you want to word it. And I decided to look at some of the pictures of like the overhead views for both of these kids' houses, so that way you could see how similar they are. So, you know, for Athena and Summer both, their driveways go pretty far down away from the house, right? In Athena's case, there is where you can, like, you would come in, have a turnaround or whatever, you can come back out. Summer's looks about the same way. You would go in, you'd have to turn around to come back out or whatever. And there's really not lots of access, so you would have to know the area and have a specific reason to be there. And I'm not saying it was a delivery person that has Summer either. I'm not saying that. And I am not a Wells supporter. Everybody knows that. But I am a Summer supporter. And I think that, for myself at least, I need to take a step back, get out of my tunnel vision, and really look at this possibility. Because if I didn't see Athena's story unfold myself and you were to tell me, well, you know, this is how it played out, I would be like, bullshit. I would be like, no way. That's no. But it did, unfortunately. And what is absolutely terrifying about this being a FedEx driver is that, think about all of the type of deliveries or whatever you have at any given day, just in general, around people's houses. You've got, you know, the post office, you've got FedEx, UPS, Amazon, you've got DoorDashers, and then you also have, like, you know, landscaping companies, tree cutters. Then you have your, you know, occasional utility workers, or, you know, people working on the streets, you know, laying down asphalt or whatever. And this is somebody you typically don't put into your head as far as being a possible danger. Because this monster was a FedEx driver, okay? The other reason that is just so mind-boggling is that he was a FedEx driver. He was a driver of a very well-known, monitored company. This wasn't just some random, you know, DoorDash type thing or anything like that. This is somebody that had a route, and you got to know, I mean, he had to have known that they would be able to follow his route wherever he was or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it was really risky, just incredibly risky for him to take Athena. And that is so brazen, in my opinion. And that bothers me. It seems like more and more, as time goes on, these criminals and these predators are becoming brazen. I mean, you have kids getting snatched out of mom's arms in broad daylight in some places, okay? You Google it, you'll find it. So that barrier, that sense of, well, you know, they're monitored closely, they have a itinerary that they have to follow with where they deliver. You know, obviously they're going to know, well, he's got deliveries at this place, that place, yada, yada, yada. Like, you would never think that would be like a post office worker putting mail in the mailbox and then snatching up a child. Like, you would never put those two things together, is what I'm saying. The most likely scenario would be somebody within the family, a close by neighbor, like in Michael Vaughn's case, or, you know, somebody that, you know, was stalking you or what have you. Like, every other scenario would come to my head before the scenario that did for Athena. And it really shook me. I have to say that I did have this tunnel vision when it came to Athena's case after stuff started coming out, and it was because of the likeness between her and Summer. And apparently I was wrong. But I still didn't expect the outcome that we got. So I want you guys to really pay attention to how this could be possible in Summer's case as well. So Athena's, where she went down, I think they said it was like 200 yards or something like that. I don't remember how long it was. But if you look at Summer's house, it kind of is the same thing. There's a lot more trees around Summer's area, and I feel like the the vision of where you would see somebody start walking and disappearing is a lot sooner than in Athena's property. I feel like there's more of a clearer path in Athena's property that, there's no overgrown trees or anything like that to kind of block anything, right? And then if you put that into perspective with what happened with Athena and Summer's property, it could happen too. And I feel like that kind of puts us back to square one all over again, because it was taken off the table pretty quickly in a lot of people's opinions. It was also, when it came to a planned abduction, with somebody that was known to the family, yes, that's a possibility. And I still think that's a possibility, because I still think somebody could lie in wait. And if they know the routine that happens in that family, for instance, the tree cutters, when they're there, they notice that the kids are unattended. They would know that Summer can run around and how often Candace was actually out there with her or Grandma, and they would know what time Dawn would or wouldn't be coming home or be around the house. Also, a postal worker, if, you never know, was Summer allowed to run down to the mailbox to get the mail? Was that something she was allowed to do? Or is that something she would do? I mean, we don't know that 100% for sure. So if that was the case, if a postal worker or somebody even dropping off wood noticed Summer would be by that street by herself from time to time, unattended, they would know that there would be an opportunity to snatch her up, and nobody would be none the wiser, because there's so many different areas that she can walk off to. Down by the shed, the one shed that's at the bottom of their property. Again, if she's running around there playing and somebody notices that she's unattended, they can always come back at a later date and, have it in her head, okay, next time I see her, I'm going to grab her. This is a big possibility now. Whereas before, it was more of an unlikely possibility to a lot of people, including myself. Stranger abduction was not something that I held on to very long. It went from stranger abduction, and then after listening to some people put it into perspective and really thinking, it went from stranger abduction to possibly a known abductor. Somebody that was familiar with her, but in her mind, Summer thought they were safe because, like I said, maybe she noticed that her mom and dad said hi to her, or maybe Grandis, struck up a conversation with somebody, and she figured, well, if my grandma's talking to this person, then that's okay for me to talk to this person. It is possible that somebody who knew about Summer and about the Wells and knew that she loved kitties and puppies and horses, maybe they used that to lure her away, to say, oh, I found a litter of kittens. Do you want to come help me, bring them inside or whatever and help me take care of them? Whatever, okay? But my point is, in my opinion, it needs to be put back out there, because in a million years, I would never, ever think that I would hear that a driver of a very well-known company worldwide would be capable and brazen enough to do that. I shouldn't say capable, because you can be capable of things, right? I guess the better way of saying it is being brazen enough to do it, having the balls to actually go through with it, especially with your work vehicle. I'm still wrapping my head around it. I cannot, it's sad, and it's terrifying, because, we say hi to, well, at least the way we were raised, you always say hi to people out of just being courteous. As we got older, we started realizing saying hi to everybody wasn't exactly the best idea, and then we had to start teaching our children that we can't say hi or be friendly to everybody, which is a sad world to live in, because kids should worry about being kids, not about anything else. But my little, for instance, is a talker, strike up a conversation with everybody, loves asking the mail lady how her day was, and that's scary, and, if there's a delivery, we say hi to the people or whatever, but it's scary to know that somebody was ballsy enough to do what they did. And I refuse to mention him right now, because he's a monster. That's what we're going to call him. A monster, okay? Pure effing evil. Go ahead, look at that dude's picture. Look at his eyes. You just look at his eyes. That's all you need to see. You don't even need to know that he has anything to do with Athena. Look at his eyes, and that's going to tell you everything you need to know right then and there. But yes, what happened to Athena was pretty bone chilling in the sense that that sense of security, it's been breached. Now, I mean, yes, I've always side-eyed everybody around my family. It didn't matter, if they were the pizza delivery person or the FedEx person, UPS, Amazon, whatever. You always, you always have that caution. But when you see it play out like how it did with Athena, I feel like that was a humongous slap in the face of a reality check for myself, at least. So, like I was saying, I know people want to put the blame on Don and Candace, and I am not a supporter of them. I will say it again. And I firmly do believe that one out of the two parents is responsible in some way, shape, or form. Then my opinion has not changed about that. However, it would be very, very unfair to not re-enter and rethink this idea of abduction of Summer now that I've seen it happen with Athena. It wouldn't be fair to Summer to not look at every angle, even if that means having to start from the beginning again. And like I said, I still have my opinions, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I still feel like that needs, at least from my view, it needs to be looked at. And for Summer, the terrain's a lot thicker, and I feel like there was more places where that opportunity could have came. And as random, and like I said in Athena's case, all the cosmos had to be aligned perfectly for that to happen, and unfortunately they were. But now that tells me that it's a possibility. Even though I know it's always been a possibility, now it really sits home and really is going to make me look at Summer's case in that aspect with other cases, because like I said, that very thin veil, that thin barrier that was there is completely gone now. It has officially been destroyed. You know what I mean? Because now what you would think somebody wouldn't be stupid enough to attempt while working, apparently somebody is, which tells me he's not the only one, right? Monsters are monsters, and they're selfish, and they care about themselves, and sometimes they're very sloppy and stupid. And obviously, this dude did not have this well thought out. Thank goodness he didn't, because he was caught. I couldn't imagine if he wouldn't have been caught, because I feel like if he was capable of doing this, who knows what else he would have been done if he was still allowed to be free. So I'm so happy that he was caught. It breaks my heart, and my heart hurts for Athena. I can't imagine what she went through. And anyways, my heart breaks for her. This case really, really shook me. Really shook me, because whether it was 20 minutes, a half hour, an hour, it doesn't matter. A delivery literally happens within a matter of minutes. And you have to be of the quickness and super swift to do what he did, and he was capable of doing that. And that is very terrifying. And it's horrible. And my heart just breaks for Athena and her family. And I think we really should try and consider if this is a possibility of what could have happened with Summer. Not saying it was necessarily, a mail carrier or a package delivery person or whatever. What I'm saying is, if something so off the wall like that can happen, which we know officially has happened, because we've seen it happen with Athena, then that opens up the possibility for other missing children. And Summer would be one of those children, whether or not you like Don or Candace or Grandis, whether you like Jody Sue or not, whether you like Frank Light or Fred Hill or whoever they are. No matter who you like or dislike in Summer's case, put that to the side and go back to day one and think about her driveway. Look at the pictures. Look at the similarities. Look at how easy, even though we all kept saying, nope, nope, nope. Yeah, it's possible. Look at how easy it would be. And especially because we don't have a real concrete time frame of how long Summer was missing for when she was last seen. I mean, everything's still up in the air with that, okay? So you're looking at anywhere from a little bit of time to a long period of time. We don't know. We may never know, which is the other reason why I think it needs to be looked in. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate all you guys being here. And please let me know your comments below. Thank you and have a wonderful day.